Yo, people, and welcome to another episode of the Broken Silence podcast. I'm your host, Hayden, and we have our wonderful co-host,
Soraya, René.
And also on our panel today, we have
Brian,
Mr. Fernao.
And today we have a special guest with us.
It's your boy, Manny Adé. It was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we have a lot to get into today. So I want to talk about, Top Boy. It's been the trending topic of, the whole of the month.
Yes,
Guys, I just want to get into a few things in regards to the actual culture. And I want to ask, do you think Drake is appropriating the culture?
I mean, first off, can we define what cultural appropriation is, or like being a culture vulture?
Yeah, so culture appropriation is basically someone from a different race which is trying to kind of emulate a culture that is not theirs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by.
I mean, first off, Drake is
black.
black.
I feel like he does have that.
Yeah,
but I understand the whole dynamic where people may come from, just because obviously Drake is from Canada.
Yeah.
We're over here in the UK. The idea would be like, oh yeah, what's Drake's business with UK's business? But personally, I think people can appreciate the culture and still have input, as long as they're not maybe like Drake, for example, coming in to saying, yeah, it's my thing. That would be appropriating culture. But I feel like Drake generally appreciates the culture. Like, he's been following like UK rap, UK music, UK scene like before. I remember, I think there's a reference in like Take Care album to Sneakbo, a Sneakbo song. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he's been like showing love from time, and I think that's just Drake. And a lot of people like to take digs at him, and I know right now Wiley is going off at Drake.
Wiley's going off at everyone.
Yeah, Wiley's going off at everyone.
All of that. Real quick.
He's the topic himself.
Yeah,
he's a whole other episode.
For sure. But like Drake, for sure, I know for a fact he appreciates the culture, and he's a guy of, like, you can see it in, even, not to say, I think Afrobeats, for example, Afrobeats has been doing this thing for many years, but when Drake co-signs something, it takes it off, and we've seen that in so many different things. So Afrobeats, I don't know if we would be, because right now we're on the main stage. We've got Burna Boy killing things, we've got Wizkid killing things, we've got David Doe, like, in these spaces, like in America, world tours and stuff like that. And for example, when Drake and Wizkid did the collaboration with what was the song, One Dance, that was the number one song or whatever, that flew. So those opens doors. So why do we always like to just complain? Like, you know what I mean? Just open doors. It doesn't make any sense.
But can you kind of see like where that kind of conversation comes in?
No, because how's he appropriating the culture?
Yeah. No, because obviously he's not from here. So do you understand?
Yeah, we ain't from America, but we're always making references.
True,
like the whole gang culture, that's from America. That was never here. Like, even in terms of, like you saying, collab. Drake, I know Dave is a very good artist, but Drake helped him a lot. It molded him into the person that he is today, and iron sharpens iron. And if it takes Drake to come from America to kind of put the UK on, then that should be amazing, because I feel like UK artists, like, the sky is their limit, and the sky meaning the UK, like, but when American artists blow, they're known all over the world. But when in the UK artists are just UK artists. Like Georgia Smith, I'm not being rude, but in the US, who's that?
I hear you.
Do you know what I mean? So if it takes Drake to help our culture, whatever the British culture is, take off and be known worldwide, then so be it. He funded Top Boy. Top Boy looks good. Like,
it wasn't
the camera
even
quality.
It wasn't taken out of its own original culture. It went back to Top Boy. What we know. So,
and I think that's what I appreciate a bit more, because Drake could have come in and said, "Oh, I funded this now, so I can put my foot in." He could have even had a cameo in it, just because he funded it, but he kept it completely original cast, people that were there, people that we can relate to as well. So I just think you get certain people that just appreciate others and other cultures and other countries, and we shouldn't really, just be bashing on it because it's Drake. He's Drake. He's gonna get haters, and he's still gonna get love as well. So
I think people just want to talk, man. A lot of times when I see these conversations, just people just want to say something.
There's hate in it.
Like,
I was kind of surprised though, like, because I actually thought Drake was kind of going to make a cameo, because he's executive producer, so I think he's going to make a pop-up somehow, but I respect him more for that. You know what I mean?
To be honest,
he allowed us to do
I ever heard that Top Boy was coming back, I thought it was fake. I was like, nah, Drake, he might be interested in it.
Because that was the time when rumors were flying around.
I was like, nah, he's not gonna go through with it. What happened? He went through with it, and it's trending #1 on Netflix.
That's solid.
You know what I mean?
And I think it's a good thing as well because we get a lot of kind of misrepresentation about the UK in America. Because when you talk about the things that happen in UK and like real gritty life in the UK, you get Americans
think we just sip
saying,
tea and crumpet.
What
do you Britons know about that?
You don't know about it. But it's good that he can actually show the realness of what actually goes on in the UK. And what I appreciate a lot about it is that he just didn't bring it as another typical hood series that this is just happening, but he actually showed the different aspects of people's lives and how like violence and different decisions actually affect people and not just people or their families and all those people around them. So
and another good thing to start with that is he didn't just bring it back to the UK, he also brought it more internationally. If you get what I mean, because Top Boy last 2 seasons, I don't think it ventured out that big. Now
Netflix, that's big.
Netflix is big, but still there's still low-key things that
it's quite regional.
That just can't reach, and with Drake's help, it did now reach. That's why it is #1. Obviously, along with the amazing storyline and
I think of the opportunities, like just even down to economic factors, work, like people are getting employed to do
exactly
to be on these sets. Actors are getting paid. Like, so what we complain? What's the issue?
It's really helped British culture in general.
What's the issue?
I mean, British actors now will be seen more by other producers. So they're gonna do that.
And I think the acting standards of this, like even of that the younger people, like
increase tremendously.
Do you know what I mean?
Kano, if you're hearing this, you need to drop everything and become a full-time actor.
He went in. He actually
smashed that performance.
Not even Dave though. I was quite surprised by Dave. Dave made me laugh.
What?
That was funny. That was funny.
Daily Offender, Crazy East Ender.
That was hilarious.
He said he referenced that from someone. He said he referenced that from Jay Huss actually. So that's a little funny fact there.
Okay. Fair enough. Man.
Nah,
Shout out to Drake, man. Drake is doing his thing, man.
I do feel like if he made the cameo in Top Boy, I wouldn't be able to take it serious.
So
I'm happy.
I think it shows his heart. It shows where his heart was at. I think that they definitely would have thought it through because I'm sure it might have come up. Drake, why not? Nah, he said.
I
think I like the way they left it as well because you can see that there's possibility of a future season and seasons coming up. And I think if they keep it the way it is, then there's no reason why the show can't be as big as like Wire and all them
and Power and all of that.
Power and all that. So
Power's done now, so this is like their opening.
It's actually a great opportunity for them to actually just come through and just show them how it's done. You know what I mean?
That is real.
Yeah, we need a show because all they know about us in the States is EastEnders.
Yeah.
So we need a show that they can be like, alright, this UK show we need to be on that.
Yeah. I think
never watched
most of them.
I think the last episode I watched of that, I think someone died. Someone got hit by that pound.
No, but you know what? It only happened at Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always that Christmas special, bro.
Everyone
got
hit.
Always
that
someone lost their daughter.
I watched it. Who killed Lucy Bill?
You haven't watched it since then? I can't remember the last time I watched it either, boy.
Or something where the pub set on fire.
The last time I saw it, Phil fell down in the garage again.
He's been falling in the garage,
always falling down.
Oh my god! I'm surprised they like a fat print of him.
Yo, it's the whole mark.
But I got the Undertaker, boy. He's the Undertaker.
Phil was here. Phil was here, boy. That's it, you know what I mean?
But flipping. Actually, on the topic of Power as well, does anyone watch Power?
Yeah, I can't lie. I stopped at season 2, man.
No way! Are you crazy? What?
What?
I heard they changed the song as well.
Yeah, they changed it back.
They changed it back.
I
was like, nah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big move, though, to change a whole theme song just after you released a new one.
I didn't mind it, I
didn't mind it.
Why? I liked it.
Did you take it seriously?
No.
No, you know what it is? I feel like it was just like, right, I think the whole mood of it changed when he made that intro. I was just like, this feels like a junior version or something like that. It doesn't feel like
it was B-Tech
original version.
But when you hear the original, you actually just want to sing.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Someone
Like, it gets you ready to, you know what I mean?
Somebody said in the comment section, that the first theme song made them want to sell drugs, but the second theme tune made them want to sell Girl Scout cookies. Like, that's how much it totally dropped.
The tone is a bit, it was a bit different still.
He was doing like runs and ad-libs and all of that.
Yeah, it wasn't needed.
Just wasn't needed.
Sing the song straight.
Audition for High School Musical, but
not needed.
Fair enough.
So I wanted to get into another thing where just to explore the lifestyle that was portrayed in Top Boy. So because I was introduced to so much things that I didn't even know about. So for example, basically people being introduced as from a young age into, you know, like selling drugs and stuff like that. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, like they're introduced to that from such a young age. And why do you think that is? So like, why do you think that they get introduced to drugs and all this type of, you know, situations at such a young age?
I think with that, they gave us an example and they showed us exactly the kind of reason why. Because you remember the character Ats, and you remember what happened with his mum almost getting like evicted and getting immigration and all that. And you can see when young children are exposed to these kind of things and they're looking for a way out. He's like, what can I do to help my mum? I need money. What's the easiest way for me to make money? Let me do some runs. Let me sell drugs, whatever. And even though he knew it wasn't the right thing to do, when you come to a level of desperation, any open door it seems like the right door too.
Seems like the best option.
So when I think if you see that like the characters, I think what's her name, Jackie and the girl Jack. And the other guy, they prey on people like that, and you can see how they were trying to, you know, wean them in and say, I can give you this, I can do this for you. So they prey on like vulnerable young people, and they can see their weaknesses, and they can take advantage of that.
Anyone else?
No, I think they definitely done a good. They showed it like what it really is in the ends. Like, how can I explain? Any ends. No, but any ends. Anyone that knows, when you say ends, you mean like your hood. You know what I mean? That's
where's the hood in London?
South.
Yeah, where's the hood?
Okay, I live in
everywhere.
South, and there ain't no hood in South.
First of all, we said we had this conversation last time.
We had it.
Vauxhall, that's different. Vauxhall somewhere else.
Okay, let's say I live on Brixton Road.
Jesus.
What, Brixton?
I don't know stuff like that.
No, not Brixton Road.
Yeah, you said Brixton.
I'm just trying to find out the hood in London because I hate hearing that. All right, there might be. Most of these activities take place on estates, but I wouldn't call it the hood.
Do you know
what I mean? Because some people in those estates, not everyone is poor. Like they portray it as that, but not everybody's poor. Like, listen, what is even poor in London? It's expensive to live in London already. So if you're down out poor, you can't even live here. So do you know what I mean?
A lot of these guys in the hood are these are kids, so they're still getting money from their parents. They're still hustling. They're still doing all that stuff. So you can still survive in London.
But he said what it's like on the ends.
But
I just
what I meant by
ends.
that is you're taking hood and ends as
you said both of them.
Yeah, exactly. You're taking both of those words as in like when you say hood and ends, you think American like real hood type. No, it's really like when people say gang, it's like it's not a gang. It's more of a. I'm not giving any excuse to it, but that's what people say. People say, "Oh yeah, I'm with my brothers," and like people see a bunch of black people like, "Yeah, that's a gang." That's not a gang. They can be all wearing suits. That's not a gang. That's just a bunch of brothers, it's family, innit? But back to the original point, things like that do happen. Youngers do get swept in so easy and so quick by just small temptations, and like I see it even in my area. I see little boys, 11. Riding them scooters, just flinging them. You'd be surprised. You should be in school. They're out here. It's real. It's actually happening. So they really did portray that, and you know, putting them in there in a really good way.
No, you said it.
The hood is whatever you want it to be.
There you go. The hood is. The hood can be anything. Don't put in a name to it. It's like your home, but
no. Hood is not my home.
No, it's not. I don't know how to put it.
The word itself stems from neighborhood. No?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's just
It's just an it's an Americanized term for this is my bits.
The
only reason why I ask is that every time you hear hood, it's associated with it.
Exactly. That's what you're seeing it as. I'm saying,
no, but that's what it is. Hood is actually a negative word.
Yeah, because I remember seeing it all in America. It's all portrayed as negative, so it's kind of like, and you don't really see anything positive about the hood when people mention the hood. You know what I mean?
I want to grow up and live in the hood.
I want to get out of the hood.
Everyone wants to get out
of the hood. But that's what I'm saying. Hood is where you grew up, your neighborhood.
There's poverty, but where's the hood?
Yeah, there are lots of hoods.
There's a lot of hoods.
There's poverty.
There are lots of
hoods. I don't want to start naming places
where there's poverty. The road is maintained. It's swept every day.
That's because it's swept every day.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to understand the level of
something
poverty to where it's a hood. I understand things happen, and like I think it's more correlated. Is that the right word?
Continue.
Correlated to lack of like too much time. Okay, so if you saw these kids, Ant was in poverty or whatever. His mum wasn't working. They were about to get evicted. But as for Steph had everything he wanted. But he had too much time on his hands. Do you know what I mean? And that's why they're trying to introduce like these activities for young boys so that they can go to. Because if they have time to be walking around the estate, remember, it's so closed in. They have shops in there where people hang outside. They have basketball courts. I feel like too much interaction isn't good. And I feel like if they had less time on their hands, there would be less crime.
Yeah, but then what would you do?
Because listen, as a 16-year-old boy, like forget about their age. 16-year-old, you come home from school, you have football to go to. When is someone gonna have time to approach you and say, "I take this to Manchester"?
Bitch. But that's the thing. It doesn't happen like that.
Take this to Manchester. But
that's the thing. It doesn't happen. People don't approach you with little things like, cool, Top Boy was a bit exaggerated. Like if you as I say, from the ends, you know it's exaggerated. People don't come up to you. Drugs. People don't offer you drugs. People go looking for drugs. Right. So you got to see that difference.
Okay.
So when some people don't come up to you, you just know people or the area because you've grown up there so long. People that's elders or people that you play out with, and some people just get swept into it through hard circumstances, through boredom. People just actually like to do that. But I think the hood, as he said, I like the term you said, from neighborhood. So it's literally where you grew up. So I would say the neighborhood, but it just turns out that a lot happens in the neighborhood. So you call it the hood.
But I think it's up to us to redefine that word if we can. So if we say, you know what, you want to use the word hood, how can we redefine it and put a positive spin on there? Can we do that, or is there too much stigma?
I think it's too much stigma. Because even when I hear the word hood, I'm just like, oh, all right. Yeah. But you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know how we could change that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a sticky one for me. I can't. I mean, it could be possible, but
did you watch Gangland?
No.
Yeah, I watched
Or
Gangland.
any of that?
I watched
any of
Gangland.
like the Channel 5 series?
Yeah, I watched Gangland. Yeah. That was a while back, but
Yeah, it had like, do you remember Shoki?
And ID. ID, Shoki.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, that showed a clip of him, like literally before he
exactly, but those boys were referring to it as a hood. If you look at like Gangland, I think there's like another one. Like there's that couple episodes.
There's a few.
You saw like boys sitting on the stairs with firearms, talking about it. The hood is mad, you know. There's bear war in the hood, and I'm still looking for the hood. Do you know what I mean?
No, but if you want, you ain't gonna know.
You ain't gonna find
it. I'm saying thank you. It is a mindset, and like you said, how like I don't think there's a way we can like take the stigma off of that word, because it's the mindset that comes with it. If you hear about the boys saying that word, they literally, I feel like they actually feel like they are at war with someone and they live in the hood. Like there's no other life for them. Do you know what I mean? That is how they see it.
So you don't think there's like a hood in like London?
I don't think there is.
Yeah, but I see the hood as somewhere I want to get out to a better place, because that's what I say. I didn't want to use the word hood as something that's raw. That's this. I wanted to use it as a term where somewhere where you've grown up, you've struggled, you had people around you. Cool, things happen in the area, whether you're ignorant to it or not. Like you know, it's the hood. Like, but you choose to get out of it or you choose not to.
Okay, can I pose a question real quick? Okay. Everyone here, with the whole connotation of what the hood is. Who grew up in the hood?
Yeah, I would say.
Like anyone grew up in the hood?
Nah, I don't think
I grew up in an area that wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But to call it the hood, probably not.
Yeah.
Just because my mentality was never like that in the
I
first
think that's what a lot
So
of
I knew
people
the
get
dangerous things
confused as
happening
well.
about. I always heard things happen. I always knew people that were in the craziest situations. Like if I told you some of the stories I know what happened to my family members, like it's wild. Yeah. But for me to say, I had to be running home every day, with my backpack looking over my shoulder, probably not. Yeah. So, but I think a question after that, based on what René said, is we all know about gentrification, innit?
Yeah.
So now the question is, what was that area before the gentrification? Yeah. Like, what would you call it? Because we all know, like, gentrification is making somewhere nicer and more habitable for more white wealthy friendly and more.
You had to say it.
For the lovely fellows with money. So if that's the case, what was that area before, and why was the need to do that to that particular area?
What would the white man call it? Because I know they won't call it the hood. They'll say deprived.
The ghetto. The ghetto. That's what they call it. The ghetto.
Deprived
area. I hate that word as well.
I know. I hate it too.
That's worse.
The ghetto.
That's worse than the hood. That's much worse.
Weto? Wow. Cut out. Again.
I think a big example of gentrification probably Brixton.
Yeah.
Definitely.
South. No.
I'd say
no, Brixton in general, because like, okay, everybody knows what Brixton is. Like, Americans know what Brixton is. Every single person on this planet knows what Brixton is. And Brixton was, I feel like it was always associated with the negative. Of course. And I feel like they had to gentrify it because they was even going to change the name to East Clapham. Huh? Did you hear about that?
Oh no. Is it?
They was going to change Brixton to East Clapham.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you go through Brixton now, all the people who had their market stalls, all of those old shops are gone. It's all eating, luxury apartments, like
Starbucks.
All of that stuff that crazy, appeals. That's nice to the eye. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But appeals to who though?
No, I was about to do that, but it's not me, is it?
No, I'll say another place as well. I think Stratford as well.
Yeah, that was
that had to happen because
that was Olympics.
Stratford used to be a bit like every time I used to go there, I was like,
you know, I've been there recently. It's starting to go back.
Really? I haven't been Stratford for quite a while. You know, I'm not gonna lie.
If you knew, like the place.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
That was where I was originally
saying something about
E15, baby.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was from Stratford. Like,
okay.
It's you already know it. Yeah. You already know. Like, there's a nice part, and then there's I don't want to say the word hoodish part. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I was in them.
I'm just saying.
Stratford ain't nice. That's like saying Hackney.
No, Hackney's actually very nice.
Hackney.
Hackney's actually nice.
Bro.
To an extent. You didn't let me finish.
To
an extent.
So where's nice to you? South.
In there? South.
Do you know what? Yeah, if you go to South now, it's actually very nice.
Where?
Have you seen the streets of Hackney and Northwest London?
Oh, Jesus.
Depends where in Hackney, because there's a lot of
No.
hipsters.
Hoxton's nice.
There's a lot of hipsters in Hackney.
Shoreditch is nice.
Shoreditch is nice.
These are places.
That's not Hackney though. That's East.
That is.
I'm talking about Hackney,
Islington.
Dalston, Kingsland, Hackney.
But that's
main
area. That's
Hackney.
so precise.
No, but this is main Hackney. This is the place that people walk down. They don't walk down side roads. Do you know what I mean? When tourists come, they go to the main places. And Dalston, Kingsland, no, it's dirty.
Yeah, but that's like a market area.
I think that's where they even shot some of Top Boy.
Yeah, but that's a market area. You gotta, you can't take away from what it is. If a market was there, a market's going to be there.
No. Don't take away the East London.
I have a market where I live.
I'm still a bit confused about
I have a market where it don't look like that.
Some gentrified market,
Subway
bro. Exactly. Some gentrified market, bro.
Is it expensive food? Clearly, that market is different. When we go to East Market, there's anything
market,
you want.
fam. You feels like you're back home in Nigeria, Africa. Can you get plantain in your market? Get out of here,
gentrified plantain,
bro. Bananas.
Bananas, isn't it? Banana there.
Bananas. Adult bananas.
No, but I think my point is you can't gentrify half of London and leave the rest.
Why not?
But they know why they're doing it, and they know they're strategically gentrifying certain areas because you know
how you gonna gentrify Stratford and leave Hackney?
Because they know what they're doing.
Yeah. But because they possibly had a bad reputation, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's why they wanted to change it up, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not that bad, you know what I mean?
And if the Olympics were going to be anywhere,
visit, you know what I mean?
Where else would it be?
Not South.
Not South. They robbed the place.
They robbed the whole stadium.
The stadium. Where's the stadium gone? Like,
I'm not even involved.
I'm not involved.
Like, where else?
So there's no space for stadiums in let's say Lambeth, South London, because we actually house people, unlike North and East London.
Okay, I can't take these digs no more. Can we just
don't do it? It's true. Have you seen the housing waiting list for East London?
It's crazy.
Go onto the council website and look at the housing list, and I'll leave it there.
Yeah, but everyone's getting moved out.
But you guys only have like one road.
Huh?
You know what? I think
this is getting.
We can start the next question, Hayden. Next question, Hayden.
Very personal. Very, very personal.
They got like one road. If there's an accident on that road, that's it. You sleep where you are.
It's tight. It's tight.
Tell me what happens in Brixton Road. If Brixton Road shuts down, where's anyone going? That's it.
It's tight, brother.
You know what?
Safe. Next question, Hayden.
We're moving on. Yeah. So also when I was watching the show, I saw what's his name, Jamie and his like brothers, and I saw how basically how his family was affected due to his parents passing away, and then just seeing how the big brother had to be a parent as well, and also a brother as well. So I was gonna say, do you believe that people's childhoods affect their relationships?
Of course.
Massive factor.
Massively.
A lot of people probably ain't going to want to admit it. And there's a lot of things that people go through when they're children that they probably don't either want to relive or they don't want to think about when they get to the adult years.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that it has a massive effect on how they perceive the world, how they treat other people, just how they are as a person. And a lot of people, you might see them on Twitter or whatever saying this and that. And they might think, I'm woke, or I'm this, or I'm saying this because this is who I am. And they don't realize that certain things and certain moments and certain experiences they've had from a young age has actually shaped who they are and their character. And I think the more people come to understand their past and become at peace with that, or actually deal with any issues they had when they're young, the better society would be. Because I think a lot of people might have gone through certain things and they just, they keep it at the back of their mind, or they just like try and suppress it as much as possible, and it's affecting who they are and who they can be in the future. So definitely with that point.
Do you think that people are running away with it, as you said, in regards to like dealing with the issue because they live in a home where there's no parents like there, or do you feel like it's a thing where they kind of just refuse to take the issue on?
I think for me it's a bit of both. You get some people where they do want help, they do want to do the right thing, but they just don't have like a support system or things around them or resources to do what they need to do. And my heart pains for people like that, because that they generally want to be better people, they want to do the right things, but they just don't have those things around them to do that. And then on the flip side, you have people that they have all the help around them, but they would rather find an excuse. They would rather find an easy way out and say, you know what, I'm the way I am because I'm the way I am.
Yeah, that's the worst mentality.
Which goes back to the point which you was making earlier, saying, if there was more things to do and etc., and more ways to help people in these kind of positions. And there's helplines, there's so many things out there, but it's just not in your face like that. So that was it really.
Yeah, because I was looking at again Jamie, because I feel like his story was really interesting to me, because I remember when he was with that white girl, I forgot her name, but basically she was like, so when are we gonna see each other again? And then she was like, what? It's nothing that serious. And he's like, what? Why? And he's like, because like I've got a whole husband at home, you know what I mean? And then the thing that strikes me the most is when she was like, your parents aren't in your life, innit? And then he was like, oh, you don't know nothing about it. So I kind of saw the kind of switch where he's like, okay, it's time to switch off now. I'm
100%. And I love the way they plugged that in because I think you could see the dynamic he had with her, and you could tell he had like parent issues in a sense. And you can see the way he was looking for affection. He was looking for someone to be there. To be there for him,
especially because she's older as well.
Yeah, she was older as well. So I think he kind of saw a mother figure in her in some way.
Obviously, that's a bit weird, though.
It's a bit, you know what I mean?
A mother figure,
And I think she could see that as well.
Yeah, so
in the way he was acting, and he was like, quite clingy and quite but we could.
Yeah, next time and this.
I'm quite happy that they showed that even though he's this hard guy, that he's ruthless and he can go and just shoot man like it's nothing. When it comes down to stripping everything down, he's still like any other person, dealing with issues, dealing with past kind of things that are still affecting his psyche. So
Well, I just need to point out that this pains me to hear because I haven't watched Top Boy just yet, and I'm just getting the whole plot.
See, look, you should have said that, man.
Sorry, bro.
Nah, it's cool. I can deal with it. It's cool. It's alright.
I don't think we said much though.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Well, the ending was.
Yeah, all right, guys. Thank you for joining us today on the Broken Silence podcast. Thank you, Manny.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us.
All right, guys. If you want to mention your socials,
splurge_boy, 2 Y's at the end.
Catch me at Fernao.
Soraya René.
Official Hates.
I'm Manny Adé, MXNNYADE. Boom.
Right, guys, until next time, we out.
RSK, let it play, boy.